Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Ness. I'll be your instructor for the summer for Principles of Microeconomics. Today I'm just going to outline just a brief course navigation video, and I'm also going to outline some of the concepts that I think are a little more difficult from this first introductory unit. Once we do that, then you should feel comfortable working through both your quiz and your introduction or introductory discussion. But one reminder, make myself small here. So when it comes to course navigation, all of your materials and necessary items will be located throughout your modules. And this first one here, make sure this is easy to see. Your Exam 1, Week 1 and 2, Industrial Revolution and Capitalism. This first module is what they will all look like throughout the rest of the semester. The Welcome one has some other introductory information, but all of your modules will have a reading component that links to the readings for that specific week. Then it has corresponding slides that you can use as complements to help you work through those readings as well. And then your assignments as well. Beneath the assignments, I'll always publish the videos that correspond with that material. And so once this video is complete, I'll publish this here. And you can feel free to use those alongside the slides to help you work through maybe some quiz material or help you provide some inspiration for some of the discussions there. And so this is the format for how each of the modules will work or will look like moving forward. One thing to note, there's a very important assignment for today in your welcome module, this check-in discussion. So make sure a lot of you have completed a great job if you have. But for this check-in discussion, it's great if you can publish a video. That really helps this process. But just by California state law, we have to ensure that people aren't taking the course in bad faith. So showing your willingness to participate week to week is important for this check-in discussion. You have to complete this assignment. You might complete other assignments and fail to do this check-in. If you do not complete the check-in assignment, you will be dropped from the course. And so by 11 p.m. tonight, that's 11 p.m., make sure you complete that check-in assignment, and I'll just open it real quick just to make sure it's all clear. You have until 11 p.m. tonight to complete the assignment. If we fail to do so, then I will have to drop you from the course. So just a quick reminder, I'll publish one more announcement about it as well, but please make sure to do so. And thank you to everyone who has published videos up to this point. That's very helpful in terms of working through this initial process. And thank you for doing so, because I know that sometimes it is a little weird. But I'm working through those tonight, and just make sure we get that done. Okay, outside of that, let's get into our concepts that I think are a little tougher from our first week. And so these largely come from Chapter 2 in OpenStax. Now, core things that we're covering here are largely dealing with concepts like scarcity and opportunity cost. The fact that we don't have infinite resources implies that we always face these constraints. And the constraint is represented here by our budget. So this individual only has a budget of $10, and that sets the constraint. We have our relative prices here, and so burgers here are costing us $2. Those are mapped out on our y-axis, and our bus tickets are 50 cents each. And so if we were to spend our full budget on bus tickets, that would leave us at point F, where we'd get 20. Or if we were to spend our full budget, all of our $10 on burgers, we'd be stuck at point A. All along that constraint, points B, C, D, and E provide us with some mix, some combination of those two goods. And so the constraint represents our scarcity, And then as we move from point to point, we can assess the relative trade-off here. And so that trade-off is our opportunity cost. For example, let's say we start here at point B, and we want to move to point C. At point B, our initial bundle gives us 4 burgers and 4 bus tickets. If we want to move to point C, because we don't have infinite income, we have to reallocate our $10 budget. And so if we want to move from point B to point C, we are going to have to give up one of our burgers. So we'll be losing 1 burger in that process, and that 1 burger is going to provide us with 4 additional bus tickets. And so as we move across there, we're constantly facing these trade-offs because of the concept of scarcity. Anytime you want more of one good, in this case when we move from B to C, we want some more bus tickets, and in order to get more bus tickets, we have to give something up. In this case, we're giving up 1 burger in order to get 4 additional bus tickets. So, highlighting both the concept of scarcity and opportunity cost in one nice model. And this one's really nice because it gives us relative prices. And so this puts you in the shoes of a consumer. But if you want to put yourself in the shoes of a producer, so for example, our production possibilities frontier allows us to do that. So as we move towards the production side, we face a constraint, and in this one we have no relative prices. So we don't have these nice $2.50 per unit. All we have is levels of production. And so our y-axis is representing our healthcare production as a local economy. And, our x-axis is representing our education production as a local economy. Our production possibility frontier has a weird shape. And that weird shape comes from this concept of the law of diminishing marginal returns. And let's think about what that means here. What that law of diminishing marginal returns is highlighting is the fact that, let's say we start here at point A, where our local economy is producing, or all of our resources are allocated towards healthcare production. Obviously, we probably have some younger individuals, and we want to produce some education in that local economy as well. So, as a voter base, we agree to move from point A, so we want to move from point A to point B. Oops. Sorry. We want to move from point A to point B. In order to do so, we have to give up a little bit of healthcare. So we see a slight decline in that healthcare. But when we give up that little bit of healthcare, that provides us with a huge amount of education. And so what that law of diminishing marginal returns highlights is that the initial trade-offs that we face, that first sacrifice that we make as an economy when we move from A to B, all we have to do is give up a little bit of healthcare to get a huge amount of education. But that concept of diminishing marginal returns means that as you continue to increase the amount of education, you have to give up more and more of that healthcare. And so we can see that as we move towards the other extreme. Let's say we continue to increase our education. We keep doing it, all the way till we're at point D. At point D, let's say we provide some state-subsidized healthcare, and so we no longer need as many resources towards healthcare. Now, if we want to push that limit and allocate all of our resources towards education, from point D to point F, we end up giving up a lot of healthcare and getting a very small increase in education. And so, law of diminishing marginal returns gives us this weird shape for the production possibilities frontier, this weird concave shape, because at the beginning, our initial trade-offs provide huge returns. Towards the end of that cycle, we have to give up quite a bit in order to get really small increases. And so that gives us that concept of diminishing marginal returns. And so just with these two really simple models, our budget constraint and our production possibilities frontier, we're able to highlight three major concepts in economics. Scarcity, which maps out the binding constraint represented by our frontiers and our budget constraint. We're also able to highlight trade-offs and opportunity costs, meaning that as we want to move across bundles, in order to get more of one thing, we have to give up some of the other. In our budget constraint here, we're giving up some, or our example, we gave up some burgers in order to get some more bus tickets. And on the production side, we gave up a little bit of healthcare in order to increase our education. And so we have these three fundamental concepts that will kind of play throughout the background throughout our semester, but this provides us with a nice foundation moving forward. But that covers just some of our course navigation and some introductory concepts. Little longer one just because I wanted to do a little bit of course navigation and reminder for that discussion. But if you do have any questions, stop by during the office hours or just shoot me an email and we can schedule a time to meet. But outside of that, that's all I have for today, and have a great Juneteenth.